Welcome back to SurvivoTek. My name is Jude. Thank you so much for being here. Today we're continuing our series of building out a bushcraft kit, but I thought we'd take it from a slightly different direction. So in the last two videos we did a budget bushcraft kit and an intermediate level bushcraft kit, both centered around just learning bushcraft out in the woods. So not necessarily like overnight kits, but like, you know, educational kits. But today, since we're moving into more of the premium advanced level bushcraft kit, I thought I'd break it up into a whole bunch of different mini episodes. One for more content, but two, and more importantly, because I think each one of these topics deserves to have its own separate video. And the first topic is your electronics that you might bring with you to go out and learn bushcraft and, you know, spend a night in the woods or a week in the woods, depending on how good you are at it and how much time you have. With that being said, this video is sponsored by TrustFire. A couple weeks ago, TrustFire reached out to me, asked if I wanted to try out one of their flashlights. And being that this was in the works, that I was planning on making a video like this, I said, of course I would. I've been wanting to get something, you know, more budget-minded, but also that would fill the place of an EDC and hiking headlamp. And they had the exact right model, the MT15. This is a multi-purpose flashlight, EDC flashlight. You can see how small, nice, compact, rechargeable, but it also has this latch here and you can attach it, turn it into a headlamp, which I think is super nifty. And just like that, now I've got a headlamp that I can just pull apart, and now a pocketable flashlight instead. Now this goes all the way up to 1,000 lumens, and it claims you can run that 1,000 lumens for 65 minutes. So I decided to go ahead and test that out. I sat here at my balcony workshop and worked on tying lanyards for my knives, running this flashlight on high, that 1,000 lumens the entire time, no stopping, ran the timer, and in just over 30 minutes we only hit the 50% power, so like the halfway mark. So yeah, I would say that is accurate, even though it's pretty chilly out here. It did get a little warm, but not really very warm that it wasn't actually pretty comfortable while out here in the winter. Along with the flashlight, you do get a little lanyard, a split ring, and an extra kind of O-ring rubber gaskety thing. Since this is IPX8 rated, so weather rated. So weather rated, you can, you know, run this in the rain and it'll be totally fine. It ships with a 16340 battery. I don't know anything about batteries, if I'm honest, so that's whatever, I don't know. But it also runs on a CR123A. So you got a couple different options there. USB-C rechargeable, right here on the back. And one cool thing, magnetic. So if you wanted to, you know, let's say you're working on your vehicle, stick that on the roof of your car or something like that. Very handy for that. The top indicator, you're going to click it once, and it'll give you a color to show you what range you're in. So I'm hitting the yellow-orange, so I'm at that 50% mark. And then as you're charging it, once it turns green, it's good to go. Click and hold, turn it on. You can switch through the modes. So it's been in my EDC bag for the past 2 weeks now, and I'm very happy with it. I'm going to continue testing it, but I just wanted to put this out there to make sure if you are looking for any last-minute Christmas gifts or something like that, this winds up on your radar. Now, if you want to purchase, like I said, this video is sponsored. There's going to be a link down in the description box below where you can go ahead and purchase this with a discount, and I get a little kickback as well. So very cool stuff. And yeah, thank you, TrustFire, for letting me try this out. Very cool. A quick comparison to my standard headlamp. This is an O-light. Now this is the P-Run Mini. Very similar concept. You've got a head strap and a clip flashlight. You can see just a slightly smaller flashlight to the TrustFire. Both are rechargeable. Both have these headlamps. I did find the TrustFire to be a little bit more comfortable because this big giant panel is kind of weird and I didn't like the Velcro. This is faster to attach because it's harder plastic, but it's way less comfortable to wear, which I think is more important in the long run. The primary difference between these two flashlights is this is a $60+ flashlight versus this being a $30+ flashlight. So you're basically getting roughly the same thing for nearly half the price, which I really like. One of the worst parts of the Olight and why I wanted to try something different is because of its rechargeability. It has this proprietary magnetic charger system, which I am constantly losing. And I would rather have a multi-purpose USB-C, which nearly everything else in my kit gets charged with, than this super fancy proprietary system that I'm just going to wind up losing. This requires me to have more electronic gear in my kit if I want to bring the charger and like a battery bank. So I just, man, as much as I did like this flashlight, that in and of itself was the deal breaker for me. I did not mean this to be a flashlight comparison. I can't mention the TrustFire without mentioning the Olight. So look how much further the Olight hangs off your head. That just causes an imbalance on your forehead. Let's see if we can kind of get an idea here. The TrustFire gets quite a bit brighter. If I can get the middle, these seem to match pretty well. And then that's the high on the Olight. And that's almost high. And then this TrustFire goes a step further. So if you want to get a multi-purpose EDC style flashlight that also doubles as a headlamp in those scenarios, I'm going to go with the TrustFire just because it gets brighter, easier to charge because of that your more universal USB-C, lighter, smaller footprint, and a more comfortable strap. So, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. Okay, so when it comes to the electronics that I usually bring bushcrafting, besides in my EDC kit, usually I have like a pair of rechargeable headphones, obviously cameras and camera gear because I'm often filming and making content. The flashlight is maybe the most important thing. This is the hardest thing to replicate in the woods. I mean, you're talking about using a torch and campfires, and that it's just never going to be as bright as what you can get from a flashlight. So whether it's a dedicated flashlight or some kind of headlamp or some kind of multi-purpose tool, carry a flashlight with you no matter what. That is going to be the size, shape, features, and price tag completely dependent on you, but at least carry a flashlight. You might also think about carrying a lantern. I've tested a few in the past, some real cheap ones from Amazon. They work fine, nice and bright. They'll light up your campsite, and that's the important thing. Now, in addition to that, I also carry, usually, not all the time, depends on how long I'm going, some kind of battery bank. This one's very old, probably nearly a decade old. Just to show you how old this is, to charge the Anchor, it's USB micro, not USB-C like most of the new ones. And to charge your device, you'll use standard USB. At the time, this was considered a fast charge, but man, it takes forever to charge. But doesn't matter, still works, carries my power, much lighter and easier than something like a generator. And since most of my stuff is like a cell phone or a rechargeable flashlight, or so, you know, I don't really need a ton of power. This is the Garmin InReach. I've started carrying this because I'm going out alone and I have a family to think about. This allows me to contact them or send out an SOS signal. Since we're in Idaho and it's winter, I just figure having something like this better than not having it. It's a nice insurance policy, and membership on that subscription isn't too bad. It's like $10 a month to get your basic membership, which allows me to just text my wife, hey, I'm being eaten by a bear, send help, or something like that. This is what I would recommend carrying in the woods, is some kind of headlamp and some kind of backup flashlight. Backup power if you're going for multiple nights, any kind of communication devices you might need to contact loved ones or emergency services should some kind of issue happen. And then for me personally, this is not necessarily what you need to carry, but I always have lots of camera gear with me, because if I ain't filming it, it's not happening. Nah, it's a joke. I don't always film everything, but we YouTubers kind of get sucked into that world pretty easily. So what electronics do you carry? What are the kinds of things that you would put into your bushcraft kit? Now again, this is not car camping, this is not glamping, this is bare essentials that you're going to bring with you, electronics that you need just in case while you're out there practicing your primitive skills. Leave in the comments down below. Appreciate you joining me, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.